Hi, we're team number 4 and we'll be talking about the topic drug addiction. First of all, what is a drug? A drug is defined as any substance that has a physiological effect on the body. This can be either legal, like tobacco or alcohol, or illegal, like methamphetamine and LSD. In the following video, we will be talking about the different kind of drugs, their effects on the human body, and their consequences. Also, this video might be helpful to all the people that are uninformed or are at risk of consuming any type of drug.
So we're gonna talk about cannabis now, or marijuana. Some of its characteristics is that it's basically dried flowering tops and leaves, and also the small stems and its seeds of the plant Cannabis sativa. It can enter into our bodies through inhalation, like also by smoking it, and through the ingestion of something that contains cannabis. Yeah, it contains CBD or cannabidiol and THC, which stands for tetrahydrocannabinol. These both substances or chemicals, they affect our brain and our whole body through neurotransmitters. And cannabis is mainly used for medical purposes. Its effects are mainly positive and negative also. It may help in the positive side with pain relief. It can also improve sleep and helps relieve PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and alleviate social anxiety. On the negative side, we have that it has an exacerbation of existing symptoms of the bipolar disorder and an increased risk for the slow-growing seminoma subtype of testicular cancer. Also, as we know, whenever we smoke, we increase our risk of developing any respiratory disease such as lung cancer and asthma. Some of the abstinence effects that cannabis has on our bodies is that you may develop decreased appetite. You might show sleep difficulty, weight loss, aggression, anger, and restlessness. Also, it might increase your anxiety. So as you can see, these are the whole opposite effects of the positive ones. This happens whenever we distance ourselves from any product that contains cannabis or from its direct consumption. Some of the individual and social consequences of the cannabis consumption may be self-isolation, lack of concentration, memory loss, and altered brain development. As you can see, it mainly affects our brain and our nervous system because the neurotransmitters that are released by CBD and THC, they have a negative effect on our brains in the long term and in the short term.
Well, I would talk about cocaine. First, some of the characteristics of the cocaine are causing a craving or intense desire for the drug, which can lead to a compulsive behavior of drug use. Cause tolerance, which means that a person using the drug needs higher and higher doses of the drug to feel the same or similar effects as the person who first used the cocaine. contracting blood vessels, which make the hair work and bed work harder. Short-term effects: lost the appetite, increased heart rate, blood pressure, and body temperature. Large-term effects: permanent damage to the blood vessels of the heart and brain. High blood pressure causing hair attach and death. And finally, the consequences are lack of self-control, hallucinations, and death.
LSD or lysergic acid diethylamide. This drug has more subnames than real actual known effects. And also, apart from the names, it also has different formats of consumption, like paper, squares, pills, liquid. What happens if someone addict to this drug stops using it, I don't know, for one day? Well, the first thing that happens is that they are unable to detect obvious dangers or to think clearly. For example, that someone wants to jump out of the window to see clearly or to see closer, or that they stop in the middle of the street just to see the view because it's beautiful. Well, the main consequence is the increase of heart rate, blood pressure, respiratory rate, blood and body temperature. Also accompanied by depression comes psychosis, because it seems like almost all drugs cause psychosis because it affects your brain that, well, is the principal thing of your body. It controls all your organs, your limbs, and your thoughts. And so most drugs, because they are inhaled or drink it, they affect mostly here in the brain. And also, one thing that obviously happens when a person abstains from any drug is that it hires their impulse to consume. So, to conclude with this drug, what are the long-term consequences? Other long-term consequences of this drug include insomnia, excessive sweating, loss of appetite, and tremors.
Heroin is an opioid drug taken from morphine, a natural substance taken from the seed pod of various poppy plants. It is very known as Big H, hell dusts, and smack. It is characterized because of the way that addicts consume it. Most of them combine it with crack, but they can smoke, inject, and sniff heroin. Heroin is one of the fastest drugs to enter into the brain. The immediate effects that it has is that you feel very tired and that you feel a lot of pain. When you have some time of using it constantly, you may have a lot of weight in your extremities and you will have some trouble to concentrate. When you have a lot of time of using heroin, you will have worse complications as collapsing of veins, insomnia, liver and kidney disease, sexual dysfunction, lung complications, above others. And when you stop using it, you will have less difficulties for concentration, but you will have a lot of constant headaches and you will feel tired. The most common consequences that brings you this drug is that you may become very easily an addict, and in your family is that they become very stressed and very worried about you because of the way you are living.
Methamphetamine, or for short, meth. It is an addictive stimulant substance that affects the central nervous system. It consists in a blue or transparent crystal-type rock that, when pulverized, is dissolved into water and then is drank. The effects it can have in a person that consumes it are the following: increase in activity and talkativeness, decrease in appetite and more state of well-being and euphoria. Long-term consequences can be memory loss or a teeth problem, or meth mouth like is commonly known. Also violent behavior, anxiety, paranoia, finally hallucinations, sleep problems, and change in the structure and function of the brain.
Hi, my name is David Sanchez and I will talk about tobacco. Well, first its characteristics. There are more than 7,000 chemicals in the smoke from tobacco products, from which nicotine is the main addictive component of tobacco. Smoking cigarettes is the most common way of consuming it. Tobacco appears in the second group of most dangerous drugs and the third one as the one that produces the most addiction, just behind cocaine and heroin. It is an agricultural process product from the leaves of Nicotine tabacum. In 2008, the World Health Organization defined tobacco as the world's leading cause of preventable death. Its most important effects are that immediately after being exposed to nicotine, which is the main substance of a cigarette, the person receives a stimulus caused in part by the drug's addiction on the adrenal glands, resulting in an adrenal rush, which stimulates the body and causes an increase in blood pressure, respiration, and heart rate. Some effects of abstinence of this drug is that, the main benefits for people who don't smoke or don't consume tobacco are that you will have much less probability of getting any kind of cancer, your lungs will be much healthier, and you are much less likely to get respiratory diseases. Another benefit is that your mouth and your breath will be much better. In women, non-smoking can raise considerably the chances of having a good pregnancy and a healthy baby. Some consequences of consuming tobacco are that the habit of smoking damages almost all the organs of the body. It has been definitively linked to cataracts and pneumonia, and causes the third part of deaths related to any type of cancer. Overall, the death rate from cancer doubles in people who smoke. Lung cancer is the first on the list of the types of cancer caused by tobacco. Cigarette use is associated with 90% of all lung cancer cases, the cancer that causes the most death in both men and women. Smoking is also associated with cancer of the mouth, pharynx, larynx, esophagus, stomach, pancreas, kidney, urethra, bladder, and acute myeloid leukemia. Passive inhalation of cigarette smoke also increases the risk of many diseases. Passive inhalation is when you aren't directly smoking, but you are breathing someone's smoke that is around you. Environmented tobacco smoke is the largest source of indoor air pollutants. Passive inhalation of cigarette smoke is estimated to cause approximately 3,000 lung cancer deaths among non-smokers and contributes to more than 35,000 cardiovascular disease related deaths. Being exposed to tobacco smoke at home is also a risk factor that contributes to new and more severe cases of childhood asthma. Thank you.
Alcohol is a depressant made by natural factors like plants or fruits. A depressant is characterized for slowing down your vital functions, and this results in slurred speech, unsteady movements, disturbed perception, and an inability to react quickly, and also affects in the way you react to something and in the way you feel pain. The way that alcohol affects your body or brain depends on the quantity you consume it. If you consume it in very low quantities, it will just affect you, making you thirsty and feeling very relaxed. This is because of the loss of anxiety. But if you consume it in very high quantities, it will make you vomit, lose consciousness, or even reduce your heart rate. The most dangerous factors in alcohol is when it is combined with other substances or when it is not well prepared. This could make you even die. When you quit alcohol instead of abstinence, you will get some traumas. That those are the ones that make you came back to drinking. But in a positive factor, if you quit drinking, your brain and your body starts getting healthier as your liver. And in social factors, you sleep a lot more and you get better at socializing. For the last about alcohol, we all know that alcohol is one of the substances that make worse things in your surroundings, in your family and the people you care about. And this is because when you are under the effects, you don't control what you are doing, what you are saying. That makes that the children grow up with traumas and that your family have some troubles treating with you. This is because they are scared. And you may always be mad because of wanting to get the fix, or you are drunk so you don't control it.
In conclusion, this was a helpful topic. This is because every day adolescents are very near to these kind of substances that can lead to major problems. It is crucial to avoid these kind of substances and say no when pressured. Finally, remember, don't do drugs.